My name is Jacob Wheatley, and I have an irrational fear of geese. Or I should say, I used to have an irrational fear of geese. Since childhood, I've kind of worked out of it. And this is the story of how I work through my fear of geese. So I should preface by saying it all goes back to when I was a kid. I was playing in the yard one time and I accidentally got too close to a geese and it started running after me and it sounded like it was screaming and I was completely mortified and had nightmares for a very long time after that. But let's preface. So what are geese exactly? Geese come from the family Anidae, which means that they are a type of waterfowl like ducks and swans. But geese are the evil cousins of the waterfowl, in my opinion. They can literally be any and everywhere. When I had looked up to see where exactly they come from, I was shocked and mortified to know that they can pretty much live anywhere. And that alone has given me nightmares. There are a few different types of geese, three to be specific. There are the answer, which is a gray type of geese. There is a chen, which is the white type of geese. And then there is the third one. The third one that sends shivers down my spine. The Bronta. Or I should say the Canadian geese specifically. This friendly face here is the thing that continues to haunt my dreams. I guess you could say just gives me nightmares. Now, why am I scared? As I said, I had a very traumatic experience as a kid with a geese. Nothing like bad happened. I was fine. It's just when a 4-year-old boy is being chased by something that is screaming at him, it's pretty terrifying. So it kind of stuck with me. But also, look at this thing. Like, did you know that geese not only have teeth, they have teeth basically on their tongue? That alone will give you nightmares. And I know it gave me nightmares for years, up until pretty much my adulthood. But I didn't want to always be afraid of them. I wanted to work out of it and not scream every time I saw a geese. So this is my journey to figuring out what's going on and why am I so afraid of them? Like I mean, I knew what caused this fear obviously, but I really wanted to know because there are like specific phobias, for instance, and I wanted to know exactly like what goes on with that, what causes it, what treatments are there available to me. So for the first part, the types of fears, there's ornithophobia, which is just a fear of birds. And then there is the anatidaephobia, which is the fear of waterfowl specifically. Or I guess you could say, in my case, the fear of geese. I thought it was just geesophobia, but I was wrong. Clearly, there was a much more scientific term for it. But to be fair, my fear is not that bad. I know it is purely irrational, and that's fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely just give it a 5. Like, I get scared when I see them, but I'm not like screaming anymore like I used to. But what have I done to help this fear prior to really like learning how to cope with it? I mainly just avoided geese to to be fair. Anytime I saw one like in the yard, for instance, I just would not go outside. I guess still living in fear doesn't really help the fear by just avoiding it. But oh well. There are a few treatments that I found that do help it, although they seemed a little bit intense for me, like neurolinguistic therapy, which is basically just talking through what causes it and why you feel a certain way, and then hypnotherapy, which is pretty self-explanatory, and also meditation. But I can also just look at little pictures of baby geese, which who doesn't love baby animals? This is the gateway that started my recovery on overcoming my fear of geese, little baby geese, and I love that. A few fun facts that I learned when I was trying to cope with my fear was they imprint, which most animals do. They see something, and the first thing it sees can be its mother. So a goose could imprint on me, and I could be its mother. They are genuinely very caring creatures for each other. Like they will constantly have each other's back, which is pretty cool. Also, they're guard dogs, which I love that, but that's also scary. Um, but on the other hand, facts, they're cool and all, but they're not exactly getting me to the place that I want to be. So, what do I do? I did what any person would do. I went to a petting zoo, and it was a memorable experience for me. I avoided the geese pen for a while because I didn't want to interact with them just yet. But eventually I did. I talked to them for a little bit. I hung out with them. They were really chilled. I even got to go into the pen and not like hold them because they're birds and they kind of like their space, but I did my thing and I had a really good time with it. And it actually like broke me free of my like fear of geese, which is pretty cool. And that basically is how I overcame my fear of geese. It was a wild experience for me, but it happened, and that's my story.